Hi, welcome back to Soundwaves. I'm Demetrius,
I'm Cullen.
and today we'll be talking about the Vulture series by an artist once known as Kanye West, now known as Ye. So where do you want to begin with this? What do you want to talk about with it? That project.
Well, in 2022, I believe.
Yeah, 22.
Kanye, he went on a what podcast was it?
The Alex Jones
The
podcast,
Alex Jones podcast.
and he expressed admiration for a very unpopular person.
Yeah.
And after that, he went into hiding for a while. And during this time, I don't know if it was an attempt to win the public back or just to rebrand. He goes into hiding for a bit, and then he begins creating albums. However, these aren't solo records. They are collaborative albums with one Ty Dolla $ign.
Yeah. And Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign, they do a little rollout. I remember Kanye, he was in the some sort of desert. Do you remember that time?
In Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Yeah, he was creating probably Vulture's music. And so him and Ty Dolla $ign, they record all these songs. They do some listening parties also in late 2023. They released a single, Vultures.
Yeah.
Which was, people did not like that song at the time.
It's a bad song.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best song off the album. It's okay, but it's not the greatest song.
Yeah.
And then in 2024, obviously the Instagram post comes out saying Vultures 1 in February, Vultures 2 in March, Vultures 3 in April of 2024, which obviously did not happen.
Yeah, but from here, we get an announcement of a listening party. And at this point, Kanye's reputation is at an all-time low. The music doesn't seem to be doing that well, and his listening parties aren't attracting that much crowd. However, he announces a listening party at the United Center in Chicago with 3 days' notice, and within 10 minutes, it sells out. And this is a sign that Kanye still has not only maintained his fan base but grown it, because back then, prior to his incident, he couldn't really do it. And so the day comes, February 8th, and they host a listening party with a radically different record from what was initially teased earlier on. And on a Saturday morning, which is pretty unconventional for a traditional record release.
It was. Before this happened, though, I remember Carnival did get leaked, and obviously people were very hype about it.
Yeah.
People were definitely hype about it, and then on a Saturday morning, which was a 20-year anniversary of College Dropout.
Yeah, 20 years.
Yeah, Kanye released Vultures. Did not come out on normal streaming platforms immediately. It came out on Apple Music.
It came out on everything but Spotify, and
Yeah.
Spotify got it at 3 p.m., whereas the others got it at 3 a.m. And then from there, the album does monstrously well. It debuts at number 1 with 145,000 copies, and Carnival by Kanye West, Playboi Carti, Ty Dolla $ign, and Rich the Kid becomes the biggest song in the world.
And I would like to ask you, your overall thoughts on Vultures 1. Terrible album.
Awful album.
There's definitely some highlights, but obviously there's a lot of songs that definitely shouldn't even been recorded in the first place.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's an album that probably shouldn't have been released, and I think is ultimately, in spite of it initially being successful, damaging to his ultimate legacy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some people say that Donda 1 should have been a retirement album for Kanye.
I mean, yeah, and it works as a retirement album because he would have gone out as one of the greats. And I think with Vultures 1, it was the beginning of the dismantling of not his cultural, but his musical legacy. Because prior, he had some mediocre records, but nothing atrocious until Vultures. And as time has gone on, things have unfortunately only got worse.
Yeah, but there are some songs. I mean, obviously there's Burn, which a lot of people like.
Burn, Carnival.
Carnival's not that bad of a song.
Oh, the
It's just,
Northwest song.
The Northwest song I did not like that song that much. I don't know why. It's just, I guess Northwest's verse I didn't like. But
Yeah, but Carnival, if I'm being quite frank, is one of my least favorite songs of all time. It's just, the beat is overbearing and annoying. The mixing is bad. Rich the Kid can't really stay on beat to save his life. Ty Dolla $ign does okay. So does Carti. And then Kanye comes in with an atrocious, indefensible verse.
And a Hell of a Life sample.
Oh, yeah. The other part of that is the original version of Carnival sampled Iron Man by Black Sabbath, which is a very, very famous heavy metal song from the 70s. However, the creator of that song, Ozzy Osbourne, did not want that to be released on the record. And so Kanye decides to use a sample from one of his older songs, "Hell of a Life," which in turn already sampled Iron Man.
Yeah.
So in other words, he's basically saying, "I don't care about you. I can do what I want." And
I mean, I feel like that's a lot of what Kanye does.
yeah, and scarily enough, it worked pretty well.
So all that whole album, it was definitely, some people liked it. Obviously, if you go on like TikTok, you have the people saying Vultures One is a 10 out of 10, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
And just remember, Kanye still hasn't really officially apologized about all the stuff that he said.
yeah,
And Anthony Fantano giving it an
unreviewable.
unreviewable, which is probably a 0 out of 10, strong 0 out of 10 or something.
Yeah,
And then, so people are now expecting Vultures 2 to come out. Well, it's like early March, which was the planned release date. But then as that time came along, there hasn't been much like hype for it. Or Kanye hasn't said much about it. Ty Dolla $ign obviously hasn't said much about it. And then the day comes and there's no album.
Yeah.
And then it kept getting like pushed back and back.
yeah. And I think there's a theory. I have a theory as to why.
What?
The nitrous.
The nitrous, yes.
Yeah.
So definitely like around during this time, Kanye started taking nitrous, and it shows in Vultures 2, which we'll talk about in a bit. But
Yeah.
during this time, did he even take it like before Vultures 1? Do you
Yeah,
think?
he did. He's been taking it since like 2021, I believe. But so he was prescribed by his doctor, his dentist, Dr. Thomas Connolly, to use nitrous as a way of like blocking the pain from his surgeries, and it ended up getting him addicted. He ended up spending thousands of dollars on it, and it crippled him in a big way. As a matter of fact, as of writing, and I kid you not, he is suing his former dentist in a lawsuit for malpractice. Yeah, Cullen did not know about this when we started recording. I didn't either.
I mean, at the same time, I don't really know. I don't think Kanye's like. He's just like I don't even know if that's gonna go through or anything, because you never know about this guy. But so during this time, obviously he's on the nitrous, and Vultures 2 is in the works. It keeps getting pushed back. You keep seeing the NFR podcast saying the album started dropping tonight. Vultures 2 appeared like 5 times for it to never drop.
Yeah.
And then finally was like when, like August. Do you have an exact date?
August 3rd. And it was a surprise because he announced it on his website on July 31st, but with no additional promos. Everyone thought it was like a mistake. August 2nd comes around, no record in sight.
But that night, August 2nd, didn't Slide come out?
Slide came out at midnight on Saturday.
Yeah.
So he announced it for the night, and at 3 a.m. on Saturday, Vultures 2 releases on all streaming platforms at once, and it's one of the worst albums I've heard in my entire life.
Yes. So Vultures 2 releases, and then now people are starting to, see like he's not right in the head, because this guy made all these great albums, and now he can't even put together an album that's properly mixed, and it's just how much do you know how much it sold in the first week?
Let's see, because initially it was only projected to sell like 70,000 copies. However, in the opening week, Kanye decided to use what's now a common practice in the music industry, which is to release digital deluxe albums, where essentially on the artist's website, they sell copies of their records for $5 with additional songs or maybe just a song as versions. And that ends up boosting sales, and it creates more hype and attention. In this case, he released multiple unreleased favorites from his catalog. And
Yeah.
it ended up selling the first week from 83,000 to 107K.
And then let's just give our thoughts on Vultures 2 real quick. The unreleased songs I wish were obviously like Sky City, which is an amazing leak.
Yeah.
It just the AI verse, just like so Kanye he used AI on Sky City and some other songs, but like people say Field Trip, his verse could be AI.
Yeah, Field Trip is AI, and there are other songs that ended up getting fixed in post, like 530, which also utilize AI in their new versions.
Yeah, and then obviously, so 530, the outro of it, which people did not like at all, it was just him mumbling, and then he was talking about like Drake and Lil Baby in it, and then Sky City, which personally I like that song a lot the week, but then AI just ruined it. But
Yeah.
like seeing Designer on a song in 2024 was pretty
Oh
funny.
yeah, Designer. Panda.
Yeah.
Panda.
And then there's obviously songs that shouldn't have made it, like Bomb.
Oh yeah, Bomb, which features North and Chicago West, and is
And later, Miles.
oh yeah, and then Miles on the later editions, which is one of the choices Kanye
I
has
mean,
made.
the production of Bomb isn't even like that bad. It's
It's
just
not,
like
but it's
just like.
such a bad song.
And then obviously there's some good songs like River,
River's pretty good with Young Thug.
the
and,
first part of 530.
Yeah.
And then obviously you
Field
gotta
Trip. I
Field
liked
Trip.
it.
Yeah, and then obviously you gotta have Fried with the Hooligans.
Fried. The Carnival ripoff.
Yeah, that song did
Yeah.
not take off, which everyone was sick by Carnival by now, which Kanye should have expected.
Yeah, and so the album doesn't really do that well. However,
Fantano doesn't even review it.
yeah, 3 weeks after, he announces a concert in, I believe, South Korea,
Yeah,
and it goes on. I believe it's August 23rd, and it goes sensationally well. There's renewed interest in Kanye. He's actually performing with a microphone, which hasn't been the case in many years. He's playing unreleased gems. He's previewing new music at these, and announces a record called Bully. And this generates way more hype than pretty much anything that he's announced prior.
yeah, and also during this time, I remember people were doing the Free Kanye movement.
Oh yeah, for the
Because-
nitrous, because the nitrous thing got announced, and everyone assumed that he was completely fried by the nitrous, which initially seemed to be skeptical, but is now pretty much all but confirmed to be a true thing.
Yeah, and then so during this time, like Kanye does some rollout for Bowie, but like and apparently he like locked himself in a Japanese hotel room or something. Is that true?
With his wife, yeah.
Yeah, to make Bowie. I mean, and then so Bowie starts rolling out. What was the
Pre-orders drop on his website, easy.com,
yeah,
and then so a
And
bit of
it's-
time passes.
and especially during this time, people start cutting themselves off for Kanye. Travis Scott like unfollowed him or something.
Well, no, we have to explain why. So
Yeah.
give me a second. So the new year rolls out. Kanye gets nominated for a Grammy, which is insane because just 2 years prior he was espousing several harmful views. And this will lead us into our next segment. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Soundwaves. We were talking about vultures, but we got an unexpected, spectacular guest in the building. Musician, should have been platinum artist, Lil Dumpty, aka first name Maxwell, the last name stays confidential, and we are here with him in the studio, in the podcast live, and we're going to talk to an interview on him. This is amazing. How are you doing today, Lil Dumpty?
I'm doing real good, Cullen. Doing real good.
So yeah, you've had in the last 8 months a pretty whirlwind time. So can you tell us about how you initially started out in music?
Well, I mean, basically it was a year ago in a few days, really, where we were sitting in ELA class, and Demetrius came up to me and told me to freestyle out of nowhere. It did catch me off guard, and I am willing to bet that was definitely my worst piece ever. But it was the start of something really fun and awesome.
And the name of the song?
The name of the song was I Am Awesome.
So you have a little partnership with someone named Dr. S. I have a question before we get into all of your music. How do you think your partnership with Dr. S was throughout your career, and how much do you just like him as a partner, musician partner?
I mean, he's a really fun guy and all. He is kind of spontaneous when sometimes show up to my house and say, let's record a song or let's make a song. But overall, it was a pretty fun experience. It was pretty nice, a really good producer throughout the whole experience too.
So I guess my question is, when I Am Awesome was first unveiled to the public through a leak, how did you react to it? How did you react to it? How did you take to it?
I mean, shoot. I mean, you either go big or go home. I was at first, I was, a little bit embarrassed because it was my first freestyle. I'd never really done something like that before. But then over time, I saw it for what it really was, with like an introduction into the music scene, and I would own up to it whenever it was brought up.
And so I Am Awesome was initially just a leak and eventually went on to streaming. How did that happen? What was the process like there?
Well, honestly, I have like 90% of that to thank Dr. S for. He was the one who really did all the heavy lifting. I
Uh,
just sung a whole bunch of the songs.
Demetrius, I know you know a lot about this Dr. S guy, so maybe you could just inform a bit about like what you think happened.
Yeah, so what I think happened is that I think Dr. S saw the money-making potential in releasing this song onto streaming platforms, and therefore, on Monday, June 17th, asked Maxwell if he could release I Am Awesome on June 19th, aka Juneteenth. And miraculously, Maxwell said yes, and therefore Dr. S released I Am Awesome on streaming with cover art, ISRC codes, and all that. And from there, it blew up. Isn't that right, Dumpty?
It definitely blew up, for better or worse. It did blow up, and like within a few days, everybody in school was talking about it, and everyone had heard it.
It was a talk of the town, right?
Yes, it was definitely
Yeah.
the talk of the town.
So, but that was just the beginning of your career. In the fall, you came back with, a very, well, everyone knows about it now. But I guess my question is, what made you decide to continue pursuing music, and how did that come about?
Well, basically, as a piggyback from the first experience, how it was fun and kind of random. I wanted to see what I could do with like prep time, and I had a lot of help along the way from Dr. S and a whole bunch of other support from my family too. And then I just wanted to try it out to see how it went.
And so, when did you record Fortune and Pain?
I don't remember the exact date, but it was towards the maybe middle of the school year.
That's a lie.
What do you mean there was a lie?
You're asking you're telling the Dumpty that he's lying. You're
I
telling
mean, yes,
the
because
Dumpty.
according to Dr. S, what Dr. S has told me is that on August 17th, 2024, he went to Maxwell's house
Oh,
and
shit.
laid down the song right then and there. Is that true, Maxwell?
My bad, I had the dates mixed up. Yes, that is true.
What?
And then let's also talk about your Instagram account, which is very well known for its very frequent posts a few months back, and the kind of the kind of content they posted. How did you feel about posting all that stuff, Maxwell?
I mean, it was like a spur of the moment kind of thing. Most of it was unexpected because, I mean, I'm not the only one who contributes to that account.
You're not. Who else?
Dr. S also has a.
He does.
He does.
But I'm sure that you uploaded most of the stuff, and it wasn't like that you had zero control over that account and never even logged into whatever. I'm sure that never happened, Maxwell, right?
Yeah, I didn't. Or that didn't happen.
Wonderful, Maxwell. So let's talk about it. So, Fortune and Pain, it gets recorded. You upload a video saying that you're making a mixtape. It's going to be great. It's coming out in October, and you're doing a listening party at Veterans Park. So, what do you remember about the initial reactions to the music before it came out? What do you remember about people initially finding out you were going to pursue a career?
Well, I mean, it was a really big surprise for how many people liked the video and encouraged me to do it. And I honestly wasn't expecting that many people to even like acknowledge it. But once it got super popular, I was like, screw it, let's just do it.
Yeah, so Fortune and Pain ends up releasing on September 6th, 2024. And a day and a half later, you film a music video. What was filming the music video like? Do you remember anything about that?
Yes, it was cold, and it took a bunch of attempts to get like the right angles and everything for the video, but it worked out, you know.
Wonderful. And what would you say the response to the music video was like, and all the stuff about Fortune and Pain?
Oh my gosh, everybody who had like heard Fortune and Pain the first time was talking about the music video, and like everybody was talking about, is that you in the thing? And like even some of my teachers started to recognize me from the videos.
Yeah, the Little Dumpty moniker.
Yes, even I think it was Miss V. She played the video in front of the whole class.
Wow, that's it's kind of crazy, Maxwell. And so from there, you continue recording, correct? You make a mixtape, right? But it gets
Yeah.
delayed a few times, right?
Well, yeah, there were a bunch of times where I couldn't really make it or it wasn't convenient for the time. But yes, we did make another.
Now, also during the summer session, right? You had all summer to be recording songs, and even some for September before the mixtape dropped. You only had like I would say 3 full songs. You had Track Star, Fortune and Pain, and Fooling Around. 3 fully like songs that had lyrics and production. I'm wondering, you had months to record this. You were averaging less than 1 song a month. So I'm just wondering, during that time, like what was going on? You know, like how do you average that?
I mean, there was a whole bunch of stuff that like I was busy doing. A lot of the stuff, I guess, was part of me of being lazy, but it never seemed to align until the days I actually did record.
Yeah. So you then released Foolin' Rounds, and eventually the mixtape, which is known as the premiere, correct?
Yes.
And on that, it had Trackstar. So first off, Foolin' Rounds, what are your thoughts on making that song? Do you remember anything about the recording process?
Yes, I remember that. Basically, we were sitting in Dr. S's house thinking up what we would say in this new song. He showed me this awesome beat that he wanted me to rap over, but like it just wasn't coming to me. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of lyrics came to mind, and I just sang them. We just took a few attempts and recorded the last full attempt.
That's nice. And then, so Trackstar, what do you remember about that? Was it like a similar situation, or was it like something else?
While it was a similar situation, it was basically inspired by my experiences in the track team that earlier in that year. It's too bad that I had to leave, but I mean, it just reminded me of how much fun I had on the track team before we left, and I had to focus on school more deeply.
Yeah. And what do you remember about the music video and where it was filmed and the process?
Man, we recorded it at Dr. S's house, and I remember sitting there like, what are we doing? Right? We just, while we were recording different parts, I was like, man, it was not good temperature outside, anything. And I just remember sitting up there shivering, waiting for the next video or snippet of the video to
Yeah.
happen.
And what do you remember about the Austining varsity track and field team recognizing your song and also featuring it in their posts?
I mean, from my perspective, what happened, I was in the lunchroom, eating my breakfast, and then Dr. S comes up to me and shows me a post from the Austining track and field varsity team page, and in the background I just hear my song, and I was like, what is this? And he said that they recognized me and put the song as their background. I was surprised, honestly. It was unexpected, but kind of happy that it had some impact.
Now,
Yeah.
I have a question. So obviously, this radio club controls the radio in the school and even the cafeteria, and sometimes your song gets played in the cafeteria. I just want to get your thoughts on that. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you don't care, just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't really change much if it's on the in the cafeteria playing. It's just a fun reminder of the journey we've had so far, with my alter ego as Lil Dumpty and making songs. Just if you're gonna do something, you got to be proud of the result. So I'm proud of the music we made.
Yeah, and well, speaking to that alter ego thing, do you think there's a difference between Lil Dumpty and Maxwell?
Well, I mean, Lil Dumpty only really gets to come out a few times because Maxwell always seems to be in trouble or doing something that takes up a whole bunch of time. So we didn't really get to switch around too much.
I see. And I guess I want to lastly ask you, well, not lastly, but I want to ask about why you chose to retire from music and why you felt that was the necessary step.
And also, will Lil Dumpty ever be coming back? An unretirement or anything like that?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, the reasons for the retirement after even such a little time, it was mainly because like I needed to focus more on studies and school related stuff because I realized after a while if I wasn't really paying that much attention to it, I would end up falling behind. So I did have to take a little hiatus so I could get back on track with school.
So you think there's a chance that Lil Dumpty returns in the future?
Yes, I think so.
And will Lil Dumpty save the summer? Will you save the summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, I want to ask you about your plans for touring because on your page it does say you are planning to do a sold-out arena tour, including at the Barclays Center later in the month. Are you prepared for it? Have you been prepping everything? And
I mean, I'm gonna have to consult Google Maps for where that is because I have never been there before.
It's in Brooklyn.
Okay, I don't think I'll be able to attend that one.
Are you gonna do a no show? It's already sold out.
yeah, what about like the Atlanta show or like the one in Sydney?
You're going to Australia?
Wait, Maxwell, you knew you were going on tour, right?
I mean, I did not know originally.
You didn't know that you had a tour announced? What?
No, I did not know.
I think you need to talk to your manager about this, Maxwell.
Yeah, who is your manager, Maxwell?
Dr. S.
Man, this Dr. S guy really seems to be like abusing your rights and artistic liberties. You know, whoever that is should really be like reconsidering his ways and how he goes about making music.
Speaking about like, all that rights and stuff, how much pay have you gotten? How much pay has this revenued in, and how much have you gotten? Like, what's your cut?
Yeah, I'm still broke. I have not gotten a single penny from this man, Dr. S.
Wow, so he hasn't paid you? That's illegal, right? Like, we should make a free Dumpty movement, right?
Well, yeah, that is illegal. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
all right. Everybody listening, please post on your stories, #FreeDumpty to free this man, Maxwell, from his Dr. S captor to make sure that he gets the proper compensation he deserves as a man in America struggling with the day.
Or just get him to pay me. That works too.
One more question also. Just like throughout your artistic journey, what is like your favorite song that you've made with Dr. S?
While they all seem to be pretty good, my favorite is the one we started off with, or not the one we started first off with, the first official one, Fortune and Pain. It's not that it's might not be the best song. It's just the one that marks the start of the journey of Lil Dumpty.
That's wonderful. And thank you so much, Lil Dumpty, for your time here and explaining the intricacies of your music. Me and Cullen will be back next episode pretty soon to discuss the Vultures project and more. See you, everybody.
Oh, radio.